Jesus left the temple area and was going away when his disciples approached him to point out the temple buildings. He said to them in reply, "You see all these things, do you not? Amen, I say to you, there will not be left here a stone upon another stone that will not be thrown down." As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples approached him privately and said, "Tell us, when will this happen? And what sign will there be of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus said to them in reply, "See that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Messiah,' and they will deceive many. You will hear of wars and reports of wars. See that you are not alarmed. For these things must happen, but it will not yet be the end. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes from place to place. All these are the beginning of labor pains. Then they will hand you over to persecution, and they will kill you. You will be hated by all nations because of my name. And then many will be led into sin. They will betray and hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and deceive many. And because of the increase of evil doing, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached throughout the world as witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. I think to me, this is, I just think of this personally, like, um, because of the increase of evil doing. For me, I'm a person who is sensitive to these things. I see them. I see the sin. I see the things, even though the culture is comfortable with it. Um, I notice it. Um, because of my neural differences, still in pursuit of that, but basically I'm most likely on the spectrum. Um, I just experience the world a little bit different. So the things that we accept as normal don't feel normal to me necessarily, like just in general. I mean, not just spiritually speaking. Like I'm one of those people who I don't like. There's things like I wear the same clothes every day. People think it's weird. I don't see any reason why it should be different if I buy five of the same shirt. Anyway, there's just things that to me we get comfortable with as far as like what we watch, what we listen to, what our practices are. That to me, I see it and I see the harm it does, and like work environments and the things where people are basically being abused and they're comfortable with it, and it's just for me, this is my risk is, or not my risk, but like this is I see this happening, the love of growing cold, like my ability to open up and extend myself to people because I've been burned so many times, because there's so much darkness in the world and there's so many things that have made it difficult, um, and a lot of it is linked to the evils we allow in our life. Um, it's yeah, I won't say more because I can't get the right words, but it's hard. Loving anyone in this world at this time is hard because there is just a lot of darkness and um, yeah, enough. When you see the desolating abomination spoken of through Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, let the reader understand, then those in Judea must flee to the mountains. A person on the housetop must not go down to get things out of his house. A person in the field must not return to get his cloak. Woe to pregnant women and nursing mothers in these days. Pray that your flight not be in winter or on the Sabbath, for at that time there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until now, nor ever will be. And in those days had not if those days had not been shortened, no one would be saved, but for the sake of the elect they will be shortened. If anyone says to you then, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "There he is," do not believe it. False messiahs and false prophets will arise, and they will perform signs and wonders so great as to deceive the elect, or deceive, if that were possible, even the elect. Behold, I have told you beforehand. So if they say to you, "He is in the desert," do not go there. If they say, "He is in the inner rooms," do not believe it. For just as lightning comes from the east and is seen as far as the west, so will it be with with the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. This, to me, is another part of the whole thing I've been doing. I'm calling it in my imagination, I'm calling it unchurching. But learning to not, like, when people say, oh, he's in the desert, oh, it's this way, or God does this, or this is how God does, this is what, this actually means, or this is the deeper meaning here, and just, I don't believe it. This is, the Lord will reveal, just as in this coming, his final coming, it will be something that everybody can see for themselves, that it will be very clear to each person. I think that is kind of a thing that in the with the word, with this whole faith anyways, is everything can be seen by each individual person, because that's, to our own master we stand or fall, and he is able to make us stand. And I think that this is an important what's the word, premise, maybe, I can't think of the meanings of words very well these days. um but I just think sometimes we're too quick to jump on. That's why I always say, it's like, I don't ride any bandwagons anymore. Like, I don't get on any bandwagons. I walk by myself and with the Lord, like, I just, if anybody says this about something, I might read the passage for myself and ponder what they say, but I'm not going to accept it at all. Like, until the Lord brings it to me, I'm not going to receive anything from people, because I've done that most of my life, and I'm trying to sort through that now, and it has caused a lot of confusion. And anyway, Avenel. Okay. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn. They will see them. Oh, wait. They will see the Son of Man coming up upon. Bleh. They will see the Son of Man coming upon the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a trumpet blast, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Learn a lesson from the fig tree. When its branch becomes tender and sprouts leaves, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things, know that he is near at the gates. Amen. I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know anything. I just kind of shout out what I'm randomly thinking about. But because of the fig tree in that he cursed, and there's the fig tree being, to my understanding, I don't really know exactly if it's just church knowledge or if it's like, I don't know, but I equate it with um, Jerusalem, with Israel, and so I was just pondering that as I read it this time anyway, just kind of like, is it meaning the things that are happening there, like as he's describing here, like when we see these things that, I'm just, it's still cooking. I'll get back to it later. All right. But of the day and hour, but of that day and hour no one knows, neither angels of heaven nor the Son, but the Father alone. For as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. In those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So will it be also at the coming of the Son of Man. And this is something this makes sense to me, because for me, again, as I just said, I see the world a little differently, and there are things that I see that are they drive me crazy because I can't like I can't unsee it. Once there's certain things you see, you can't unsee them, and people keep acting like a certain way, like the world is like the U.S. and all these things. Like there's all these, oh, well, in the future we'll do this and that, and I see the underbelly. I see the like the actual thing. And to me, the culture and the habits and the ways that they're 100% unsustainable. And there's no way we can continue on for very long the way we are, because people are people and we aren't treating them that way anymore. And we've all become really comfortable with it. And it's just one of those things that to me, it boggles my mind how people don't see certain things. I won't go into it too much here, but maybe I'll do a separate video about it. But it just so I can see this, like the people sometimes, and sometimes I think it's because people can sense something's wrong, something's not right. And so we push all that much more into our delusions. And I've been there, but I have been disillusioned to an extreme. And believe me, sometimes I want back in on my delusion, but it's like I can't anymore because now I've seen the truth. But but we do that, like we press into our delusions, whether it's fantasy, like you know just escaping into watching things or video game kind of things, or bad relationships, and just or thinking we can fix everything. um Sometimes I think the real political stuff is that if that's our little delusion that makes us feel like we're doing something, because part of reality and being disillusioned is realizing how little we actually are able to do. Um, and, anyways, shut up, Avenel. Okay. Two men will be out in a field, one will be taken and one will be left. Wait, did I skip something? No, I didn't. Okay. One will be taken and one will be left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and one will be left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. Be sure of this: if the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. So too you must also be prepared, for at an hour you do not expect the Son of Man will come. Who then is the faithful and prudent servant whom the master has put in charge of his household to distribute to them their food at the proper time? Blessed, blessed is that servant whom his master on his arrival finds doing so. Amen, I say to you, he will put him in charge of all his property. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is long delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eat and drink with drunkards, the servant's master will come on an unexpected day and at an unknown hour, and will punish him severely, and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. And this is just, to me, again, a thing that I guess in some ways is not about the timing. Like it's not like, oh, if I get, because I remember, especially when I was little in the church and stuff, and hearing these kind of things. Oh, well, younger, maybe not little, but like, and just being really afraid about the timing. And I don't think it's about the timing. I think it is about the heart, because some people, no matter how long it is, no matter what, are not likely to give way to the beating of the servants and all of that kind of stuff, because it's not really about the timing and getting caught doing something wrong, because the Lord will know where our heart is one way or the other. But it's about understanding that we have to be living our life before the Lord, and we have to open our heart for the Lord, so that the Lord, that we are seeking, because the Lord is always there wanting to sanctify, right? But like, I have to be willing to open my heart to that sanctification and be seeking him. And if I'm not expecting him to show up sometime soon, like, um, then I'm not seeking him and I'm not allowing for that process because the process is painful. It's very painful. And so we tend to like, I mean, believe me, I am a master of procrastination. I've turned it into like an art form. But like we put things off that are painful. And I think that's more what this is focused on is let the Lord deal with your heart, you know? Because when you don't, then that's where the toxicity comes that would cause this behavior, like he's saying, like beating servants and drink with drunkards. I mean, because that doesn't even sound like a happy person. That's not like revelry. That's like disgruntled and anger, and it's not a happy thing. But that's what happens when we don't let the Lord deal with the things that are in our heart and show us ourselves, because that's the other piece there. But anyway, I've said way too much.